sure it's supposed to go like this. Yeah, I'm sure it's supposed to go. Well, hey, Johnny, you want to say hi? No? Okay. Hold on. These lights need to turn on. Magical! Magical! I was trying to do something. And it was turn off that. Okay. Then, Johnny, come over here. Say hi to the vlog. I just brushed you for 20 minutes. You can give me a favor and say hi to the vlog. If there's anything my cat loves, it's literally being brushed. I was going to do something. Yeah. I do have a way to get him back. Treats. Here he is. Hey. Okay, because okay, I guess you get a treat. Been good all day. Yeah, totally. Here you go. I just actually threw a treat at my phone. Yeah, he's cute until he's clawing the carpets, puking all over everything. Because you left him for a couple days. Literally, when I leave him for like a couple days to go visit family or friends, that's when he gets mad and he pukes all over everything. Oh, he'll puke because he'll eat too much. When he's like, he'll do that maybe like when he's home alone for a while. Were you just purring? Yeah, you're purring. Okay. We actually feed him the same brand we always do. He really likes it and it's really good for him. It's just he'll eat so much of it at one time and then he'll puke it up because we're gone and he loves the attention. He doesn't like being home alone a lot because he loves humans' attention. So, and then he'll be all upset and then he'll puke and then he'll go take a nap. Or he'll do it when, like, he's in a new environment. Like when cats, like, have to move to a new home and they'll get stressed. He is. He acts like an actual 3-year-old. He actually back talks. That's just awesome. A cat back talking you. Try and find him. Yeah, he's in a litter box now, so it's like not time. Trying to like find it. Okay. There we go. Just getting him. There we go. Bungee chair set up. It's a bungee chair. That's what you're talking about. That's what I'm sitting on. Bungee chair. My cat will just go into the litter box just to wipe his paws. And then I'll wipe his paws on those sliding doors. I don't care that's like 4 or almost 5. I want some goldfish. Maplethorn, she's like my soul sister. In the role play, I feel like, and in real life. I just realized I'm doing Warriors roleplay and I'm eating fish. Back tonight, my cat's gonna get a little cheap tuna because we're having tuna fish sandwiches. Whatever's left in the can, I'll put into a bowl, and then, or I'll put it into his food bowl. Cats can actually have a little bit of human tuna and they'll be fine. They just can't have too much of it. So I make sure how much I give him. And yeah. Other than that, we don't feed him human food. I'm currently listening to YouTube. It's just my tablet's over there. Yeah, he gets all the attention. He gets catnip treats. He gets some catnip, tuna fish every once in a while. He's living the good life. Yeah, he freaking decides when he doesn't get his way, he's gonna go and let's say back talks. He does one of those. Also, he's allowed to roam the entire house except my dad's room because he always pees and poops on my dad's bed. Even if he just went to the litter box. Yeah, I just don't like being really in silence a lot. I always gotta listen to something and music just doesn't do it for me. So yes, he is spoiled. He has like literally a whole bunch of toys. Literally I let him sleep on my bed every night. Literally I'll be curled up in a little I'll be curled up on a little ball on the couch. And there's a whole bunch of space on the couch. My cat will have to, on the little cushion that I am, get on the very little tiny space that's left and curl up in a little ball to where I can't move anymore. So yeah, he's very spoiled. He's literally allowed to go up there and all that. Ugh, that's sad. There's actually a couple of stray cats around where I am, and there's this one cat that we're trying to kind of tame and bring in, or kind of tame so we can keep it as an outside cat, because when it was gone for a little bit, we thought maybe they died or something, because a mouse actually got into our house, and I'm terrified of mice. I'm okay with hearing about them, seeing them on a movie or a screen or behind like a cage, but I cannot hold them. I cannot see them out of a cage or anything, or roaming around my floors. I will jump onto the nearest furniture. Because I don't know why because in my old house, my old house was infested. They came out of the vents. They chewed up everything. It just traumatized me of mice. And then my cat, he picked the mouse up by its tail, tried bringing it towards me, and Maplethorn, because Maplethorn was at my house, Yeah, it's like scary. And my cat, he picked it up by the mouse and he brought it towards me and Maplethorn because Maplethorn was at my house first, like a sleepover. Meanwhile, she's trying to like, oh, he lets it go. He lets the mouse go. The mouse runs past me. I freak out. I see that Maplethorn's okay, so I push her out of the way so I can jump onto the counter. I'm standing on the counter. Meanwhile, it goes under the dishwasher, and I'm just like, I was just trying to do my chores for once. Is this what I get for doing chores for once? Like, I did not get off the counter for like 2 hours. It took 2 hours. We haven't seen a mouse since I have kind of heard something in the walls. Yeah. I don't know if it was a mouse or something but I heard like something in my bathroom because I was trying to clean up the bathroom a little bit. And I hear something like, I don't know if it was in the walls or on the floor. I already have a cat. I have a cat that's bred for, getting mice. And he picks it up, purposely lets it drop to chase it again. That's why we're trying to tame the cat that's outside. It's an orange fluffy cat. I've started putting food, which we'll go see if it's eating any food. In fact, we should go. I guess my cat likes to play. Because he has these mice, which he never plays with. But he likes playing with the mice that has catnip in it. And sorry that it's dark in here. I don't like having lights on where I'm not saving like energy. I don't know why the kitchen light is on. But we're just gonna quickly. But this is what he recently got. This is his entire thing, play set. He has this to climb up on. He has this, a blanket that he stole from me, and I just gave it to him because I got a new blanket. And he has carpet up here, his food and his water. Oh. Yep, he spoiled. He's trying to beg for attention. But outside. As you can see, there's not much water, but there is. The food is gone. So that is my cue. That was his old thing. Right there on that burn pile. And I'm okay with opening this door when he's right here because the door was literally wide open. Me and my dad outside. Door wide open. My cat's just laying there. Not doing anything. Just laying there. It's like, I'm living a good life. I don't want to be a... Yeah, there is a river in the back. In the backyard. And I'm not going to tell you where I live. I'll just let you know that I live on a river. It's really fun to go to. Except not by myself. And the food is over here. We keep the food in here. It actually will last a long time. It looks like not much, but in reality, it's a lot. So I'm just gonna fill up the food bowl. I'm in a very small area. I'm not in like I'm in the country. It's a small little town. Like, there is, like, I have to hold. Okay, yeah, the food can just go there. Like there. Then I gotta close the door because you take precautions. And back inside. Locking the door. Okay, there we go. And back into my room. But yeah, this is my room. I cleaned it literally last night. I'll randomly I'll let you know that I live in America. I do live in America, where a lot of people speak English. And it's like, what's going on in the YouTube video? But I have a lot of family that lived in Europe, but then they all moved here. So I have a lot of like Europe family, and I will start to learn Spanish soon because my new classes for school, which I start the 4th. The classes I have are it is like 80 degrees where I am, so I'm wearing like shorts and a t-shirt. But so my first class is Spanish, then Algebra 1, then Theater Arts, and then Wellness, and then Physical Fitness. Ow! That would be in the back. Yeah, this morning it was actually cold, kind of. It was like 68 degrees. It wasn't that cold, but it was a little bit cold to where I was able to turn like the AC. No, I only know English. That's why I'll be learning like Spanish. Oh, Fahrenheit. I don't know Celsius. I'd have to get out the calculator and look up on Google. Or I can just look it up on Google. Google! Okay. I can take this off. Google. Oh, I have it on my tablet. I have it on Google. It's 26 Celsius right now. It's 78 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. Yeah, it is getting cooler since it is turning more into winter. Summer is coming to an end. But I'm okay with that because I like the school year better because I'm able to see my friends a lot more. And I don't know. I just like winter better because I like seeing like the snow and the cold. I don't know. I'm just not much of a spring, summer child. I'm more of a winter, even though I was born and raised for 8 years of my life in Florida. Discord, Discord. Clear. Go. And um also I made a mistake and I burnt the headphones a little bit. I burnt them. I burnt them off a light bulb on accident. That light bulb was turned on while the headphones were there. They still work literally perfectly fine. And I did not sleep until 8 a.m. and then I woke up at 3 p.m. Yeah, Halloween. Ah. I like fall and winter the best. A lot of people will be like, yeah, fall's cool, hate winter. And I'm just like, I love winter and I love the fall. But that's just my opinion. But don't know if you guys can hear that, but a semi truck just went by. Yeah, I like fall too. I don't know why, I just do. I like it's like it lets me be able to wear more sweatshirts and stuff like that. I just like I'm okay with wearing short sleeves, but I just like wearing sweatshirts more. Yeah. I just got when you don't want to get up to get your drink, so you try to stretch your This is Gatorade. We get like the Gatorade mix, and then we can make like a big thing of it, and then we can just pour it out. Because I don't like drinking just water because it's just a plain taste. So I have to have something like to flavor it up. Gatorade it's actually really good. This is fruit punch Gatorade. Gatorade is just an like a brand. A lot of athletes here drink it and get like branded by it. It's like an electrolyte. It's not a chemical, no. It does have electrolytes which wake you up and like make you more energetic. But it is a good drink. If you ever get to try it, try fruit punch. It's the best. They do have different flavors, like fruit punch, orange, strawberry, like kiwi, watermelon. I haven't tried cleaning a sink with Gatorade. Maybe I'll try it. No, it would probably like stain the sink red. Totally not joking. Not dying. I'm good. I had like a little droplets of Gatorade left in my mouth, and I just spit them all over my sock. Now I have to take my sock off. I gotta take my other sock off. My voice sucks. Never laugh when you're trying to drink something. On my last stream that I did earlier today around my time, like 5, I think I started at like 6 a.m. Oh, I choke on my own saliva. I've choked on air before. Go me. Hot. Yeah. I just had like a droplet of Gatorade. Like I said, Gatorade is really good. Try it out if you ever can. Just try not choking on it or laughing. Like I was saying on my last stream, I started reading a book series on Wattpad. You guys can't really see the app. It depends on which one you go for. Probably, I would have to say, hold on. Probably like a sweetness of a 3 to 5. But like I said, I started reading, okay. But I started reading, a book on Wattpad. It's a series. Hold on. Let me just go to story info. Like I said, a 3 to 5. But this is... It's called Family Comes First. It is in the Cannonball series. It has 83 chapters with like author notes mixed in. The things it's under is brainwashed, brainwashing, cannibalism, cannibals, death, family, horror, kidnapped, kidnapper, kidnapping, killing, marriage, murders, thriller, and trilogy. I personally like it. It is actually a really good book. It does have cussing in it, so I change those out for like fudge, and then if like it gets like an intimate scene, like a real intimate scene, I'm like, okay, they did the deed, let's go on now. But I personally like it. We're only halfway through the chapter before. I think I got through half through the chapter, then my phone died. I hit like end live, then my phone died. My phone always dies during a live stream. Yeah. My phone is actually at 80% and I started at 100. So, and I've been like streaming for like 20 minutes. My phone is actually pretty good temperature. So, we good. But I stopped live stream there. I asked if people wanted me to continue reading it, even nobody was on the stream. I asked if people wanted me to continue reading it or find a new book. Which I have actual books. I just like Wattpad because it's not an actual author. It's not like, oh, they have to make sure everything's right. They can post chapters after Ah. Yeah, that's what we in Maplethorn were using last time, but since the live stream, it didn't want to use the charge. It still brought it down and brought the temperature up. So even if it was like at 15% or charging or 20% charging, it still went down because it was a live stream. So we didn't use a thing called chargers. But yeah. It's very quiet in my house. Like, do you want me to continue the first book, or I can find a new book, or I can start? Unless you count my cat, yes, I'm home alone. I'm usually home alone during this time because my dad is working and it's my dad's working and I live out in the country, so it's pretty quiet. That's why I'll have like the fan on, or like I'll it's not creepy. At least I try not to think it's creepy. It's really safe around here, so I try to think that it's not creepy. I'd rather not think of my house as haunted. So yeah. Like I said, I can either continue where I was on here, restart the chapter, or find a new book. Yeah, that'd be scary. Okay. I'm only halfway through the first chapter. Basically, this girl, Juliet, is a stripper. She's an orphan. Basically, she's at her job. This guy named the Crow tried to get her to do the deed with him. She said no. Her manager was able to get him to leave and all of that. And then she met this guy who was just like, okay, yeah, I want to drink. He'll come more important to the story. Then she went on break. Then she has her roommate, which is like her only best friend, her only friend. And she's like, yeah, this guy interviewed me. He was making a book about strippers. And he gave me $50. And then she's just like, nah. And then she fell asleep. I shook my head. So this is, I don't know how long I had closed my eyes for, but when I woke up, Lena was still beside me and someone had their hands on my shoulders. I didn't expect it and jumped. I looked to see that it was. Donovan. Donovan is like her manager. He was looking in the mirror at the reflection of him and me. He slowly brought his eyes down and to look at me. Did that butthole ever show up again? He asked me. No, I said quietly. Okay, that's good. I was just checking to make sure you are all right. Yeah, I am. No worries. He slid his hands off my shoulders and walked out the door. Lena and I watched him as he left. We were now the only two girls in the dressing room. I don't know why he'd be so concerned. What was that about? She asked. She only spoke once when we heard the door click shut. When I turned to look at her, her eyes were wide. Some guy giving me a hard time earlier, I told her, shrugging my shoulders. It was nothing out of the ordinary, but was with Donovan. I don't know. A smile grew across her lips. She fell back in her chair, giggling. What? Donovan's got the hots for you, she said, and kept giggling. It makes so much more sense now. That's why you usually serve tables. He gets jealous and doesn't want you to take off your clothes for other guys. He explains the costumes you Explains the costumes you wear. They're so much more conservative than everybody else. He doesn't want other guys to see you like that. I rolled my eyes at her. She can be so unbelievable at times. Sometimes. There is no way Donovan likes me. My body is pathetic compared to other girls here. I wasn't even close to being pretty. A girl like Lena is someone he'd go for after. Someone he'd go after. She's beautiful. Wow, you're so fudging stupid, I told her. No, you're just angry because I'm right, she told me in a taunting, childish voice. I got up and walked away. By the time we got home, she'll forget all about this. I continued to serve tables and caught Donovan in the corner of my Facebook notification. He's always staring at me. I try to avoid his eyes. I walked up to the bar. Kevin was the main bartender working tonight. He had short blonde hair and green eyes. What time is it? I asked him, leaning over the counter. I know that he wore a watch. He and Donovan are the only two who do. I don't want to ask Donovan. It's almost 1 o'clock, he told me. My lips curled in a smile. I only had 1 hour left. Thanks, I said, walking away. My eyelids felt heavy. I pinched the skin on the side of my hand. I can't look tired. I'm pretty sure yawning isn't sexy. When I dropped off another drink, I passed Lena. She was giving a guy a lap dance and gestured her head over to Donovan and grinned at me. I rolled my eyes and walked away. Excuse me, I heard a voice. I turned around to one of the booths to see who it was. It was an older man, most likely in his 50s. He had dark hair and eyes. The skin of his face sagged. He had dark plaid shirt and jeans on. I initially thought he wanted a drink, but when I saw his fingers curl around a full glass. Yes, I asked, taking a step forward. I want to know if I could ask you a few questions. He asked me if his voice had a gravely sound to it. This must be the man Lena was talking about. Why would he still be here after a couple of hours? How many questions did he need to ask? How many girls was he going to interview? About what? I asked. About you. Don't worry. I'll pay, he asked. How much? How's $50? I may be a stripper, but I'm going to need a lot more than $50 to tell someone complete stranger about my life. I could hear him laugh under his breath. I don't know how I could hear over the thudding music. You're smart. You're the first girl who turned down my offer. How about $75? He offered. Why do you want to question me? I asked. I'm writing an article on why young women like yourself become strippers. So how's $75? Sorry, it's still not enough, I told him. Fine, I'm only doing this because you're beautiful. How about $100? He seemed like a sweet old man. Couldn't hurt to answer his questions. I could use $100 too. I've been running behind on my bills lately. Anyways, I've done far worse things for less than $100. Sure, I agreed. His lips curled into a big smile and gestured out the booth in front of him. I sat down. Thank you so much, he said, flipping open a notebook. Can I have your full name? Juliet Miller, I told him. I had to lean forward across the table so that he could hear me. My name is Charles. Age? He asked. 19. That's pretty young to be working here, he told me, scribbling down in his notebook. Who do you live with? My roommate. She works here too. Why don't you live with your family? Like I said, you're a young girl. I dug my fingernails into my hand and bit down my bottom lip. Bit down the bottom of my lip. He's going to judge me even more now. I don't remember then, I told him. I spent my entire life out in the foster families and orphanage. They let me go when I was 18. That's kind of why I work here. Charles was furiously writing down in his notebook. Why didn't you stay with your adopted families? He asked me, arching. I never wanted to be there. I got kicked out most, I explained. Why? I got into fights, stayed out all night, came home drunk. I basically did everything you weren't supposed to. Do you still do that? His voice had sympathy. It actually surprised me. He sounded concerned what I do with my life. Not really. I try to stay out of trouble. It isn't always easy, I told him. Do you do any kinds of drugs now? Not anymore. Charles closed his notebook and looked up at me. He smiled. He smiled so big that all of his crooked yellow teeth were showing. Thank you, Juliet, he told me. I slid out of the booth and started walking away. I heard him call him out and turned around. We settled on a price. Do you still you still don't want to take the money?" He told me, and extending his out. He had a couple of bills in it. And how could I possibly forget about the money? It must have been how his smile caused a shiver to run down my spine. I grabbed the money and shoved it into my bra. I could hear him chuckle and shake his head. I started to walk away. "Wait, Julia," I heard him call. "I have one more question. Are you a vegetarian?" "No," I said, shaking my head. I turned around and continued to walk away. I knit my brows together and was an odd question to ask. What does eating meat have to do with being a stripper? When I went back to the dressing room, a few other girls were there, but it was still pretty empty. I put the money from my green box into my bag. With that $100, I won't need to work for the rest of the hour. No one will notice that I'm gone. Donovan may, but if he's secretly in love with me, he'll let it go. This may have its privileges. I got changed in a pair of jeans and an old gray sweatshirt. I pulled my hair up into a ponytail. I always loved how safe these clothes made me feel. My skin is covered and no one can make rude remarks. I'm wrapped all up in a cocoon of comfort. That's like how normal they made me look. If I went into a restaurant or a store, no one would think I was a stripper. I exited out the back door and started making my way down the street. I couldn't afford an apartment in the city, so I had to walk 45 minutes to get to my apartment. It was dark, but after a few months, I got used to it. The eerie way these trees swayed still made my stomach twist. Sorry, I just gotta rub my eye. Might as well rub my other eye. Get a drink. Okay. I like how it still says there's somebody here, but on the people count, it says there's people here. Hilarious. But like I was reading, the stones under my feet crunched with every step. A cool breeze whipped across my face and caused me to shiver. I started walking faster. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get some more soon. I heard a car driving up behind me, and I saw the headlights of an old blue pickup truck. I kept my gaze straight and crossed my arms under my chest. The truck slowed down next to me, and the driver rolled down his window. It was Charles. "A pretty girl like you shouldn't be walking alone at night. Do you want to ride?" he asked me. I kept staring straight and continued walking. I may have answered his questions, but I'm not getting into his truck. I don't know anything about him. He could be some kind of offender. "No, thanks," I said coldly as the wind. "Are you sure? I don't want you to catch a cold," he told me. I squeezed my eyes shut and kept on walking. I wanted him to keep on driving and leave me alone. "I'm fine," I said strictly. He began to tell me, "I'm fine. Just fudge off and leave me alone," I snapped. I could hear him turn off the engine of his truck. Yes, Charles is the one that answered the questions, the one with the yellow teeth. And the one that also asked her if she was a vegetarian. Okay. I could hear him turn off the engine of his truck. "Please don't get out. Please, just stay in the truck," I repeated over in my mind. Unfortunately, he did, because I could hear him slam the doors of his truck shut. I turned around to see him start run towards me. My heart felt like it was about to beat out of my chest, and a panic set in. Well, I'll tell you this. It's him and his family. Because I believe that it says that in the description. I think you meet the entire family in the next chapter. I've heard of how when people panic in a rush of an adrenaline set in. That must have been why I started to run. My feet began to fly across the pavement, and I don't remember ever running this fast before. Charles was fast too. When I looked over my shoulder, he became close behind me when I wouldn't be able to outrun him. Wouldn't I won't be able to outrun him, so I ran off into the trees. If I can't outrun him, then I'll hide in the darkness. As I ran between the trees, I had to raise my hands up to the branches from scraping my face. One got caught on my sleeve and tore it. I don't remember when, but at one point I lost my bag. It was no longer on my shoulder. My plan was to hide and become darker, harder and harder. Sticks cracked under my feet. A root was poking out of the ground, and my foot got caught on it. I fell towards my hands and knees. I could hear Charles fast approaching me. I got back onto my feet and running again. Despite a few near falls, I looked around for a place to hide. He was so close now that hiding behind a tree or a bush wouldn't work. I turned to see how close he was to me. When I couldn't see him, I finally stopped running. I bent over to put my hands on top of my thighs, and I was panting. I could hear a loud burn. I could hear the cold air burn my mouth, throat, and nose. Charles most likely headed back now. It wasn't worth chasing me. It wasn't worth chasing me. I better continue to walk in the same direction in case he was waiting for me to leave. I turned around. My heart jumped in my throat. He was standing right in front of me. I wanted to scream, but my throat burned like fire. Every step he took towards me, I took one back. I fell back onto the ground after tripping over another fudging tree root. I went to get up, but he ran over and pinned me onto the ground. He threw a leg over me, so he was sitting on my stomach. All I could do was scream. I imagined him torturing me painfully and then brutally murdering me. Pictures of a long, sharp knives he carried around his pocket filled my head. I think they're in a forest now, and then there's just like a whole bunch of like tree roots everywhere. Just like, hey, this is the most inconvenient spot I could be, but I'm gonna be right here. Last of my sink. I'm gonna call it sink cleaner now. I think that's what I'm gonna call it now. Okay. But like I was reading, I built up a collection of saliva in my mouth and spit in his face. It landed right in his eyes. Without saying anything, he wiped his eye with the back of his sleeve. He pulled out a needle. He was going to drug me. I tried to move, but he was so heavy that all I could do was move my legs furiously. It didn't make any kind of difference. He put the needle in my arm. After injecting the liquid into my arm, he got off me. I struggled to get back onto my feet. Once I did, my head began to spin. I tried to run, but I was so dizzy that I tumbled down on the ground after a few steps. Okay, I will after I finish this chapter. This is literally the almost the end of the chapter. My head began to spin. I tried to run, but I was so dizzy that I tumbled down on the ground. After a few steps, I couldn't get back onto my feet. I crawled onto my hands and knees over the closest tree. I grabbed the rough bark with my hands, and it stung as I pulled myself onto my feet. I could hear Charles looking at me. I probably look pretty pathetic right now. Charles grabbed my back and legs and lifted me off the ground. He walked away with me in his arms. My eyelids felt heavy, and I fought them to keep them open. I can't sleep now. I need to get away from here. I tried to push Charles with my arms, but I'm weak. Whatever drug he gave me made me feel weaker. Sorry if I stutter or something. Stutter or say something wrong. I have dyslexia, and if you don't know, like with dyslexia it is you have a harder time reading and writing. I really do like reading though. So if I stutter something or can't pronounce a really big word, I'm sorry for that. He put my feet back down on the ground. I kept my body supported by one of his arms. I could try to run away, but my knees kept folding underneath me. I could see his big blue pickup truck in front of me. He opened the door and placed me in the passenger seat. He reached across me to put the seatbelt on. I tried to scream, but only a pathetic sound came out. "It's okay, honey," he said strongly. He stroked the side of my face with his hand. I couldn't stop myself from making more of those pathetic noises. He walked around to the other side and got into the driver's seat. My head fell against the window. I couldn't keep my eyes open any longer. "Don't worry, Juliet. I'm bringing you home to your family." And that's the end of this chapter. If you want me to No. He is not going to eat her. No, trust me, he is not going to eat her. I will let you know that. He's not going to eat her. Nope. So I'm going to go get more. No. He's not going to do that either. No. You'll find more out, like, what happens. Okay. Let me just turn on a light. So, this is the Gatorade. It helps it helps replace what you sweat. And that's it right there. So I'm right here. Okay, this can work. There we go. Now let's just do that. There we go. Okay. It's just pouring out. I will take this jelly bean. This jelly bean. You can't really see it, but that's overfill. There we go. I know, right? It so does. I think this is roasted marshmallow. Roasted marshmallow tastes too much like coffee. When I first had the roasted marshmallow, I'm like, is this coffee? Is there coffee flavored? You never had marshmallows. Please tell me you at least know what marshmallows is. Jelly bean or marshmallow? Also, if you want me to read the second chapter or part of the second chapter, but they're so good. They're filled with sugariness, but they're so good. Let's just say they're very. I'm gonna count it. I'm gonna tell you how many seconds I have to scroll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, semi-long. It's an average chapter. It wasn't like the first one. I would say it's probably about maybe the same as I read this time, but can I just, like I said, I can like get probably maybe read it in 20 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. Here it's 5:40, like 5:41 p.m. Okay. There is a author's note beginning, so I'll read that. Author's note. Thank you guys for reading my story. Please remember to vote and comment and tell me what you think about it. I'm always looking for ways to make it better. Now, on to the chapter. When my eyes began to flutter open, there was a terrible throbbing in my head. I was lying down on a bed. There was a blanket covering me. I slowly raised my aching head off the pillow and looked around the room. It was full of wooden furniture, 2 dressers, a rocking chair, a full-length mirror, and a bed frame. The walls were painted a dark green, and the windows were covered with red plaid curtains. I slowly slid off the bed. My knees were shaking with every step I took, but I managed to make my way over to the window. They were covered in cold metal bars. So basically there's a window and then metal bars on the outside. Or the inside. There's metal bars on the window. And I just dropped a whole bunch of sink cleaner. I'll be back. Right? Just get a stuttering person or get a sometimes stuttering person. And I dropped sink cleaner onto the ground and onto my legs slightly. So I have to get a towel to clean the ground. Because I am clumsy. Okay. Just gonna. Just me being clumsy me. But back to the book. My tablet made a noise. When your tablet makes a notification noise that you've never heard before. I slowly slid off the bed. My knees were shaking with every step I took, but I managed to make my way over to the window. They were covered in cold metal bars. It just looked like the bars on the windows in a prison cell. Outside, it looked just like a farm. My cat's actual name is Johnny, but his warrior name is Cloudheart. The same as mine. My warrior's roleplay name. But his actual name is Johnny. I slowly, outside it looked like a farm. There was a large dry field that looked like it had just been cut, and a barn sat in the corner. I heard the door open, and I turned to see Charles walking in. He looked to be surprised. "You're awake," he said, pointing out the obvious. Don't you hate it when people do that? They're like you just wake up or something, and they're like, "Oh, you're awake." No, dumb awake. You're awake, he pointed out the obvious. How long was I out for? What did they do to me when I was unconscious? Where am I now? I stood there awkwardly. I didn't want to look Charles in the eye. I could feel his eyes search me. I felt like a fudging idiot for answering all those questions he asked me last night. I knew it was a bad idea. He walked closer to me, and I walked I wanted to back up, but I was already pressed up against the wall. I could see that my knees were still shaking underneath me. Don't worry, he told me. He was so close that I could. I gotta check my phone percentage. My phone percentage is at 53, so I think I can go like 2 hours for a live. But those questions he had asked me last night. I knew it was a bad idea. He walked closer to me and I wanted to back up, but I already pressed up against the wall. I could see my knees were still shaking underneath me. Don't worry, he told me. He was so close to me that I could feel his warmth of breath against my skin. I lifted to my hand, pushed him away, but he grabbed it and punched him in the chest. I do that so many times. Like, stay up all night so I can go to sleep early, and the next night I wait, and then I fall asleep at 5 a.m. and then I wake up at 3 p.m. I'm like, God darn it. If you want to go sleep now, go ahead. You can always continue to watch the stream later. Totally not. Just drop the tablet. Don't worry, no. Oh, hold on. I think I'm gonna move to a setup to where maybe I need it to lie. Me. Hold on. I'm changing my setup so I can actually have it on the charger. Maybe it'll work. Just that. Gotta bring over my sink cleaner. My sink cleaner can go over there. There we go. Okay. Step. Okay. I stood there. Wait, no. He was so close to me that I could feel the warmth of his breath against me. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It'll slow down the process so I can go a little bit longer. Also, I kind of want to sit. I just want to sit on the ground. I lifted my hand to push him away, but he grabbed it. I punched him in the chest with my free hand. Let go of me, I said through my teeth. A smirk grew across his lips. Oh. What happens is when you're on a live on a phone, which I am right now, right here it has like the live button. Here it says how long you're streaming. Right here it has a little people sign and how many people are on, how many people have liked it. Right here there's just a line. And then below the line right here, there's a place where you can flip the camera. The settings for all the comments. Filters. And then a little 3 button, which if you click that little 3 dot button, it just might mute microphone and share. And on the screen, like right here, it has the chat. So right here, it tells the time, who it was, and what they said. So basically, it just pops up on the screen with the chat. So I can just look up on the screen, tap it if I need to see the chat, like tap it so the chat will just pop up. Yeah, it's kind of complicated. Not really. Over here is an X to like end the live and stuff. But that X won't be hit for a long time. Don't worry, he told me, he was so close to me. Wait, no. Oh, we're here. Come on, he said, pulling my body in front of his. He was pushing me forward with his hand still on my arm, with his other arm wrapped around my waist. No, let go of me. Stop, I screamed at him. Dug my feet into the ground. It was the only thing I could do to stop him. My body started to slide further down his and soon around my neck. I sunk my teeth down into that arm as hard as I could. Charles let go a yelp for letting me go. I tumbled down onto the ground. I could feel something wet on the bottom of my lip. Lip dropped down onto my chin. I wiped away with my fingers. I looked up, and Charles to see his arm was bleeding. I didn't know I could bite someone hard enough to draw blood. Still on the still on the ground. Still on the ground. I tried to scurry away from Charles. He grabbed my ankle and pulled me towards him. I kicked him in the shin with my other leg. He grabbed both of my wrists and pulled me onto my feet. I brought my knee up to his stomach with all of the strength I could find in my body. Charles let a escape his lips as his back arched. Yeah. I mean, it depends on how pointy your teeth are. Every human with teeth, yeah. Gotta make sure they have to have teeth first. You really want to play that way? Charles asked me, raising an eyebrow. He let go of my wrist before I could move. He grabbed my shoulders and pushed me back hard into the mirror. My arms became shields. As the glass rained down on me, I felt sharp stings grow across my face and arms. I looked up at Charles. His arms were crossed under his chest. He was smiling at me. These people are fudging monsters. He came back over me. A loud crunching noise filled the room as he broke even more glass with footsteps. Blood was bubbling up on my arm, and I felt something wet trickle down my face. Yeah. As it ran, blood was bubbling up my arms. It felt as something wet trickled down my face. It trickled as it ran over my nose. Happy now, Juliet? It's useless fighting against our family, he told me. He brought me back up on my feet. He wrapped his arm around me again. I still squirmed in his grip and for him fought for him to let me go. I screamed as he pushed me forward and opened up the door. I let my knees go jelly, making it harder for him to move me, but he was so much bigger than me. He easily lifted me up so that my feet were no longer on the ground. I continued to scream. I don't know what good it would do me. No one could hear me. He walked down the stairs with me in front of him. I tried to grab the wooden railing to stop him. If my hands did wrap around the railing, it didn't stay for long. Another man, actually a boy, a couple years younger than me, was standing at the bottom of the stairs. He had short brown hair and brown eyes. He was wearing a white shirt and jeans. Tommy, I hate this name. You'll understand why I so much hate this character later on in the story. Tommy, get your brother to come in 10 minutes, he ordered him. Tommy nodded in his head and ran outside. Charles dragged me into the kitchen and pushed me down into a chair. Stay here, he ordered me. Yeah, I think everybody will begin to hate Tommy very much later in the story. I know, but he's so mean. Later in the story, you'll understand why. He ordered Tommy, get your brother to come in 10 minutes, he ordered him. Tommy nodded his head and ran outside. Charles dragged me into the kitchen and pushed me down into the chair. Stay here, he ordered me. I don't want to spoil. You'll just have to stay tuned. Spoil. I'll just let you. Okay. We're only on chapter 2. We're like a quarter into chapter 2. We just found out who Tommy is. And I'm explaining why we hate Tommy later in the story. Tommy nodded his head and ran outside. Charles dragged me into the kitchen and pushed me down into a chair. Stay here, he ordered me. I stood up and he pushed my shoulders back down. I watched him walk around the other side of the table and he got up and ran again. I could see the door and thought of getting out of here filled my mind. Charles caught me and dragged me back into the kitchen. I continued for him to scream to let me go. I dug my nails into his arm. He forcefully pushed me back down into the chair. If you try to run again, you'll be tied down, he said angrily. I didn't say a word. I wanted to get out of here, but if I saw the perfect opportunity to escape and I was tied down, I would have no chance. I'm moving this behind me. There we go. I didn't say a word. I wanted to get out of here, but if I saw the perfect opportunity to escape and I was tied down, I would have no chance. Charles would repeat the words in my head. It's useless to fight against our family. I looked down at my arms. My left arm was covered in little cuts and the blood was bleeding out from my wounds. My arm had a few cuts around my tattoos, but not nearly as many as my left arm. It stung, so did my forehead. Now, Juliet, he said, sitting down in the chair next to mine. I know you're wondering why you're here, so I'm going to tell you. For years, our family has this little tradition. When our sons become 20, the father goes out and finds his son a girl. And you, Juliet, are my oldest son's Jimmy. I could hear my heart beating in my ears. My stomach felt like it was sliding in my throat. I was going to be sick. This was sick. Who goes out to kidnap a girl to give to his son? I know that hundreds of years ago there was arranged marriages, but this wasn't the same thing. Those were business deals. These people are abusing me. Tommy walked into the kitchen. His light eyes stared at me. I felt them go over every detail on my body. How many girls does he see? I averted his eyes and he looked down at my knees. He's coming, he told Charles. Why? Why? That's just sad. Yeah, no. Tommy walked into the kitchen, his light eyes. He's coming, he told Charles. Tommy's eyes were still on me. He went over to the sink and got a towel. He sat across from Charles and handed it to him. He handed him the towel. Charles pressed up against the wound on his arm. Who is she? Tommy asked. Juliet Miller. Yeah, we already have literally, I think everything's just going bad. First the leader dies, Stone Star dies, then Frost gets deranged, and then and now a cannibal. No, that would make everything just it's already here. It would then go to here. But I was reading. Who is she? Tommy asked. Juliet Miller, 19 and from New York, Charles told him. State she's a fighter too. That's going to be interesting. Jimmy is going to have to set her straight. Set her straight. I swallowed hard. It was difficult. My throat felt like it was closing in. I heard the door open and someone walked in. It must have been Jimmy. I didn't want to look up because if I looked up, this was real. If I looked up, I would have had to see the man I have to spend the rest of my life with. But I couldn't take it any longer. I was too curious. I slowly moved my eyes up to his. He was tall, had dark hair and brown eyes. There was a long, jagged scar that ran from his nose that went across his cheek. He was wearing a black shirt and jeans. His lips pressed into a smile on a quick motion. I snapped my head back to look back down onto my knees. I bit on my lip and squeezed. Sorry, Maple. Just drinking some good old sink cleaner. I slowly moved my eyes up to meet his. He was a tall, had long dark hair. Oh, this is actually Gatorade, but Smokequad has never had Gatorade, and she called it sink cleaner, and now it's always a sink cleaner. um You want some sink cleaner? He was wearing a black shirt and jeans, his lips pressed into a smile with a quick motion. I snapped my head to look. Gatorade. No, sink cleaner. I was too curious. I slowly moved my eyes up to meet his. Actually, I just live with my dad. And he comes home. Whatever. Why you gotta be in all caps? I know, right? They're gonna be like, oh my god, I can't believe you lived through sink cleaner. He was wearing a black shirt and jeans, his lips pressed into a smile. With a quick motion, I snapped my head back to look down onto my knees. I bit my lip and squeezed my eyes shut tightly to stop the flood of the tears that threatened to erupt. I've never been this scarred before. My body felt cold as I rubbed my arms with my sweaty palms. What the? You left me in the Maple Forest after I say I walked into Steve Camp, and then I had to go and do put like away like laundry and stuff, and then I was like, I said I was gonna do a stream later. I gotta do a live stream later. So here I am doing my live stream. Charles and Tommy chairs screeched across the floor. They left the kitchen, and Jimmy pulled. Yeah, went back to camp. I didn't type in the camp section. I did type in Everlong Forest that I did go back to Steve Camp. I am trying to make a stream schedule. I will try to do it on the weekends, and I might do it like maybe during the week. I'm still trying to set up a schedule. I am making a better schedule. I will get that done tonight, and yeah, I will have that done soon. I slowly moved my eyes up to meet. Wait, oh, I already read that. Charles and Tommy's chairs screeched across the floor. They left the kitchen. Jimmy pulled out the chair beside me. I could hear a door slam shut. They must have gone outside. We're all alone now. My chest managed to tighten even more. I moved my head up, but I didn't look at him. Juliet, he said quietly. I looked to turn at him. He sat there nervously and no longer looked so tough. There must have been the day they looked forward to growing up. Like this, like the way the little girl dream about their wedding. Yeah, I know. Um, it's hard to like set up sleepovers now because it's hard to get transportation to each other's house. Um, so and we can't exactly walk because I live out more out in country and she lives more out in city. So there's no really sidewalks all the way to her house. Okay. Bye, Maple. I'll probably still be on the stream. I don't know. Might not. Um, I look I turned to look at him. He sat there nervously and no longer looked so tough. This must be the day they looked forward to growing up, like the way little girls dreamed about their weddings. Yes, I said coldly. Maybe if they didn't like me, they'd let me go. They never do that. Now that they know that I would go out and tell the police. He brushed a piece of hair out my face. I will actually Google it. I looked up and I got this. Back into the reading. Okay. My forehead's kind of. There we go. Maybe if they didn't like me, they let me go. They never do that. They know if I would go out and tell the police. He brushed a piece of hair on my face and tucked it behind my ear. It made the blood on my side of my face even more noticeable. You're beautiful, he said nervously, chuckling under his breath. Thanks, I mumbled. I don't think they're exactly quite married yet. So what happened is basically Charles, Jimmy's dad, went out, looked at strippers, asked them questions, liked. Also, I have a temporary tattoo on, but it's like really gone. Like a lot is gone. But and she when she got him, brought him back. She met Tommy and then Tommy went out, told Jimmy, and then Jimmy's just like trying to flirt with her, just be like, and she's just like, Claire. Thanks, I mumbled. I stared at the windows above the sink in the kitchen. It was covered in bars, just like the ones in the bedroom. You'll get used to it here, Jimmy told me. He must have seen me looking at the window. It was pretty obvious. Jimmy's like, hold on. He's tall, has long dark hair, big brown eyes, and there was a long jagged scar that ran from his nose that went across his cheek. That's the description of him. You'll get used to it here, Jimmy told me. He must have seen me looking at the window. It was pretty obvious where I would be looking. Doubt it, I said to myself. He sounds not that bad. Yeah. Doubt it, I said to myself, but Jimmy heard me. Why do you think that? He asked me, arching an eyebrow. So far, it feels like a prison. Those bars remind me of something you'd to trap an animal in. But it's different. It's home. But it's not my home. It is now. So basically, what just happened was he's just like, it's different, but it's home. And then she's just like, it ain't my home. And then Jimmy's just like, well, it is now. I moved my eyes up to his and held his gaze. He looked so soft and warm. The house so far seemed like a nightmare. He should be the monster, but looked so innocent. To imagine him growing up in this house was almost impossible. I started to pick at the skin around my fingers. He put his hand over mine to stop me. It was a rough and calloused but warm. I could feel his hand sweat. It must be from nerves. Not only am I nervous around him, but he's nervous around me too. He moved the other hand up to the side of my face. He traced his fingers from the top of my ear down to my chin. I could feel my body continue to shake. His fingers caused a cool chill to run through me. He leaned in and pressed his lips against mine. I ripped my hand out from underneath and pushed him against his chest, trying to push him away. He was much larger than me, and my attempts to push him away did no good. He put his hand on the back of my head to keep my lips pressed against his. Jimmy wrapped his free arm around my back to pull me closer into his body. Pushing him away from me wasn't going to work, so I let my body go limp and sat like a statue. I waited until he was done. So basically, he kissed her, forced her into a kiss. She tried pushing him away, did not work. Attempt number 500 to push human away failed. If the fathers find girls for their son, this must be Jimmy's first kiss. The thought was little comical to me. I had my first kiss when I was 9. He had his when he was 20. When he had his lips were cold. You're so beautiful, he told me. He looked down at my knees again. I never felt this nervous around anyone before, not even Donovan. He got up in his chair and went over to the sink. He pulled a towel out from the cupboard. He moved my long hair away from my forehead and pressed the towel against my temple. It caused a sharp pain to run through my head. Hold that, he told me. I moved my hand up to my head. He took his away. He went back to the sink and came back with another towel. This one was damp. Jimmy put his hand on one side of my head and to hold it in place. Began to gently wipe away the blood from my face. You look even better without the blood, Jimmy said. He had a faint chuckle beneath his breath. He moved his hand and towel to wipe the wound where the water caused to sting even more. He pulled out my left arm and wiped it down with a damp cloth. The water washed off the blood, but it caused more to bubble to the surface. He wiped it down with a dry towel. Jimmy never asked what happened to me. He just cleaned off the blood. This must be common in this house. He was good at cleaning up the blood. He must have experience. And that is the end of this chapter. And the third chapter is called Reality Hits Hard. So if you want, I can stop here or I can continue. Like, really, it's just, I can understand that. Just imagining you get taken away from a cruel world, and you hate it, but and you get moved into, like, place on the, like, in the middle of nowhere. And you're basically forced to basically fall in love with a guy. And do you want another chapter to be read? But like I was saying, I can understand, because it's just like you're getting taken away from a cruel world and you don't have to deal with that anymore, and you have you have a family. Okay, so chapter 3. I'm weird. I was back in Jimmy's room, actually Jimmy and I's room. I walked over to the window and wrapped my hand wrapped my hand wrapped my hand around one of the cold metal bars. I built up the strength in my arm to give it a big yank. I wanted to see if it was securely tightened. I sighed when it didn't budge at all. Jimmy opened the door and walked in. We just ate dinner. Well, I didn't. I didn't eat. I pushed the food around on my plate, so all I could do was focus a way to escape. Every window had bars on it, and the doors locked from the inside. Yeah. A bunch of strangers that you like literally just met, you don't know. They're just like, "Yeah, we're your family now." Yeah, like you had no family before, but like now you do. It's just like okay then. Honestly, I don't know why she wants to leave. Like she's able to sleep in like an actual bed, doesn't have to worry about bills. You know, she didn't really have a family in the first place. I do sink cleaner. But like I don't understand like why she's like wanting to leave. Like she's actually being accepted into a family that's willing to accept her. Kind of forced her there, but I'm just saying she had nothing to lose in the first place. Like literally all she lost was a best friend. Maybe $100. A loss of a best friend, a poopy apartment, and $100. I know. I'm just saying she had nothing to really lose in the beginning, so true, $100 is a lot. I will admit that. But like I was reading before, I wonder how much 100 would be in euros. I don't know. I could Google it, but I'm gonna continue to read. I couldn't. All I could do was focus a way to escape. Every window had bars on it. The doors were locked from the inside, and when I walked around the house, I couldn't find a phone anywhere. Yeah, probably. Um, I walked around the house. I couldn't find a phone anywhere. Escape seemed almost impossible. Jimmy, now I'm curious. I want to Google it. $100 United States equals 85.97 euros. Okay, and back to the story. Jimmy Jimmy walked up to me and pressed his lips against mine. I continued to stand there frozen. He had kissed me many times throughout the day, and I gave up trying to push him away, and it ended quicker if I just stood there and didn't do anything. My arms hung low by my side. Ash had one of his hands on the back of my head and the other around my neck. His hot breath filled my mouth. When he was done, he had kissed my forehead. I heard someone run up the stairs quickly. It must have been Tommy. I couldn't imagine Charles running up the stairs that fast. Tommy started yelling something, and Jimmy backed up away from me. It looked like he wasn't supposed to be anywhere near me, like he was going to be punished for kissing me. Tommy opened the door. His face was red and sweat. Sweat was dripping off his flesh. He was panting and bent over. "Come on, there are two down by the lake," he yelled at him impatiently. Tommy ran back down the stairs, his limbs flaring out. Tommy followed him, but stopped and turned around the door frame. His dark eyes locked on mine. He looked out the door. He looked out the door and then back at me. Stay here. No matter what you hear, do not leave this room. And I mean it. Do not open this door, he explained to me. He closed the door and I could hear him run down the stairs. Oh, Tommy basically said that there's two by the lake. So they have this lake near the house, and basically he said there's two people near it. And in the description of the story, it said they kill anybody who comes near their property and serve them up for dinner. And she doesn't exactly know what's happening, and he told her no matter what she hears to stay in that room. He explained to me. He closed the door and I could hear him run down the stairs. I looked out the window to see Jimmy and Tommy running across the field. I don't know where they're going. Maybe a hunt. But to hunt what? Tommy said he found two. But two of what? I waited impatiently by the window, staring, shifting my weight from foot to foot. About 30 minutes later, they came back home. They were carrying a girl. Tommy was holding her by her feet, and Jimmy had her arms. She was violently moving and screaming. My heart dropped in my chest. Humans. They were hunting humans. Oh, there. Johnny, come here. Come here. He knows his name and stuff. And he actually will follow me. It looked like he almost fell. He's right there. Pet the kitty. Pet the kitty. Pet the kitty. Come here. Johnny. Come on. Oh. He's doing okay there. I know he likes to be brushed. I can't really brush you when you're far away. You gotta walk closer. Okay, come here. He's purring now. Whoa. You guys hear him? You hear him purring? I know he likes to be brushed on his cheeks and under his chin. His favorite place is probably like under his chin. He just full out rolled. Yeah, he has a collar with a little bell on it because he likes to get himself stuck a lot, and it lets us know where he is in the house. Because we wouldn't know if he's not supposed to be under the couch, and he'll go there a lot, and it'll let us know that he's under there. Don't let me. See. He sometimes likes belly rubs. It depends on what mood he's in. I can tell, like, if he's about to attack me, so I know when to stop. Certain times he likes belly rubs. But if he does that little leg thing, that means he doesn't want a belly rub. There's been actual times he has let me give him belly rubs. Or slightly brush his belly. Okay, my arm's getting tired, dude. Can I stop? No? Okay. And he just loses just so much hair. You like a mini Johnny? Have a mini Johnny. He also loves, like, little back scratches. He just loves his little, like, I call it a butt scratch. Doing okay there? Just look at him. What, you gonna get playful now? You gonna get playful? 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 He gets in a playful mood. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's still spoiled. He's just a spoiled little kitty. Anyways, that's going to be the end of the live stream. I will probably be on later. Bye.